guys, back in the doghouse tonight. So where I left you off is I lowered the truck by a whole lot of leaves. I took all these leaves out. There's like lots. Anyway, everything was hitting. I had it down too low. I got too greedy. So what I did this morning is I put one leaf back in all four corners. I put the longest leaf in that I had. And I'm going to go from longest to shortest and just put in as least as I can. So anyway, I took more measurements, and on the driver's side front, I had 20 3/8 inches before I raised it. Now I got 22 inches. That's almost a 2-inch raise by putting in one leaf. The same on this side. I had 20 inches. Well, this side here is just a little lower. Remember I told you I think this whole truck is twisted. And they compensated by putting in an extra leaf on one side. But anyway, this side came up 2 inches. The passenger side front, the driver's side front, both came up 2 inches by putting in one leaf. Oh, come on now. So going inside the door, here I went from 19 inches to 20 3/4. That's just inside the door. You can see that that's the whatever you call it, the brace for the running board. So here, just inside the door, I gained from 19, 20, 3/4. I gained about an inch, just a little over an inch and an eighth. Here, just behind the cab, I went from 18 inches to 18 1/4. So they're only gained a quarter. Strange. At the back here, I went from the back, where the back bumper is, this is on the passenger side, I went from 17 3/8 down to 16. So I drop in here. And this is the same. This here on the driver's side back bumper, I went from 17 3/4 to 16. So I dropped the lower, the rear bumper. And I think that's because I raised the front. It kind of lowers the back, seeing I'm just working on the frame. And you can see I got a bit more gap between the arc of the frame and the axle. I think I got 1.5 inches there. But just behind the cab here, I'm up to 18 1/4, and it was 18 1/4 on the other side as well. And inside the door, a little bright there for you. Inside the door, I've got 21 inches. So it's raising the same on both sides all over. But because I've raised the front went up 2 inches. The back kind of tilted back. So what I'm going to do is, well, one thing I'm still hitting on the transmission, still hitting underneath there. And I think what it is, like according to my angle finder, that transmission should come down even more than it actually is. So what I'm going to do is a cross member. Remember, I took that out of the Jimmy, and it's made of round 2-inch tubing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to heat that up and squash it down where it's hitting underneath the transmission. And I got a new bumper pad for it. They're hard to find, holy jumpins'. I found one out west. It took a week and a half to come in, and like it was only like $8. Like, it's crazy. And then it cost me $10 for delivery. Again, it costs more for delivery than it does for the parts, if you can find them. and I'm having a lot of trouble finding these different parts. But anyway, story of my life. So I'm going to take that transmission cross member out and put some heat to it, flatten it down, and then I'm going to see where I'm sitting level-wise, because with that transmission sitting on the cross member, it might be throwing the levelness of the front end out. It may be raising it up a wee bit more. So I'm going to do that and take another measurement. We'll see what we got. Well, I spent all day figuring out this ride height on the Fargo, and the main thing I was concerned about is everything binding when I hit a bump or whatever. The main thing, my transmission was hitting on the cross member. Turn that over. So what I did, I changed the cross member, or the, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, cross member. Oh, maybe you can't see that, I don't know. Put it in incandescent light in there. Anyway, here it was hitting, can't see that. Sorry about that. The cross member here is a new cross member, and it's, before this here was hitting on the cross member. It was a big wide cross member I had in here. I took it out of the jimmy. I thought it worked really good, and it seemed to, but I didn't check everything out, and it turned out the transmission was hitting on the cross member, and the support, the little rubber support there, wasn't sitting right. It was just all crooked and everything, so I tore it out all apart. Story of my life. Put something together, tear it apart, and do it again. Do it again, do it again. And so anyway, I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave that alone. And then I took new measurements after I got everything all bolted down around the Fargo. Driver's side front bumper, 22 inches. Passenger side bumper, 22.5 inches. The rear bumper, driver's side, 16 inches. The driver's side bumper, 16 inches. So the rear end is really low compared to the front. Now I really like the way it's sitting. And the angle of my pinion angle, transmission angle are nice the way I have them right now. It's actually about 3 degrees, 5 degrees leaning down, and the rear axle is tilting up. So that means they're both, one's like that. Here, let me see that. That's like that because it's up. The transmission is down, so the angle is that way. So both of them are the same angle. They're both a negative, I guess you call that. Correct me if I'm right. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't correct me if I'm right. The way I look at it, it is perfect the way it is. So what I want to do now is, after I find out from you guys whether I'm in the right ballpark or not, then I'll weld in my brackets for the saddles for the rear axle. Right now, just bolted in there. I'm going to raise the rear end up first. I want to put one more leaf in the rear end and bring that up a wee bit. Even though I like it the way it is, it's with a 2-inch difference, 4 inch, 16, 22. I'd rather have the front lowered or the back raised, but I got to get them even. And I don't know if by raising or lowering the rear end would that change the angle or not. But I want to find out. I got to go in now. It's 3:30. I got to start supper. I'm going to come back after supper and do some more leaf adjusting. So anyway, if you guys can get back to me as to, I'm right on the geometry of the transmission and rear axle. I'd appreciate it. I think I'm on the right track. And so if I am there, I'll just put another leaf in the back and raise it up a wee bit. But now that I got the transmission fixed up, I just might drop that front suspension again. I'm really thinking about that. I might drop this front suspension after supper and see what I got, because my transmission was also hitting on the cross member. It was just a body cross member, and now it's not. I got probably an inch clearance, so maybe I'll do that after supper. But anyway, get back to me if you would about the geometry of the transmission and rear axle, and then I'll sex her up after supper. Anyway, thanks guys, and anybody that's new to the channel, please subscribe, leave a comment, click the little bell. You got to click the bell in order to keep up with all the videos, whether it be mine or my buddy's videos. It'll post you with something. Anyway, stay safe. I'll be back after supper.